Many famous writers, renowned writers wrote beautiful poems and stories, even novels about Yashodhara, but all of them portrayed her as a victim.
Right.
So I want to change that image of victim. Yes, women are victims, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But always projecting them as victims won't give women much courage.
Hi, welcome to the Literary Lounge, where we have honest conversations with authors about life, literature, and the spaces in between. I'm thrilled to have Mrs. Volga with me here today. I honestly am going to fumble a lot because I cannot believe she is sitting here in person with me for this lovely interview. To tell you guys a little bit about Volga, she has won the Sahitya Academy Award in 2015 for her short story collection, Vimukta Kadha Sampati. I'm sure she would be able to pronounce this better for me. She is a poet and fiction writer who brought a bold feminist lens to Indian literature long before it was even widely accepted. I think the first novel that came out from her was in 1986 that challenged how marriage can restrict women. There's so much to learn from you, ma'am. I think this is a honor for me to be here today. Thank you so much for doing this with us. So first of all, I would love to ask, like, how are you doing? And you've traveled all the way from Chennai to Delhi. So thank you so much for coming here. And how are you doing?
I'm fine, and I'm also happy to meet you people and talk to you, and that's a very nice thing to happen in one's life.
Absolutely.
meeting new people, making new friendships. That's always beautiful, no?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and it is, an honor for us to meet you and also learn from you. I'm sure that there's so much to take back from your journey. Challenging narratives back in 1986 at a time when people did not even accept, such ideals and such thoughts. That's huge. But before we begin, I would love to talk a little bit about your name, Volga. I mean, people know you as Volga, but behind the scenes, we know that your name is something else. Can you help us understand where did this come from?
Volga was the real name of my elder sister. My father gave it to her. There is a political thing also, because when my sister was born, the Second World War just ended, and in the paper coming the news about the Red Guards of the Soviet Union, and that day my sister was born, a Red Guard named Volga. She died fighting very bravely with the Nazis. So my father took that name to my elder sister. Unfortunately, she died when I was 16 years old and beginning to write my poems and all that. So in memory of my elder sister Volga, I took her name as my pen name, and that also suits my political path. That those days I'm a member of Student Federation of India, and full into Marxist politics. So that suits me both ways. But after that also, so many readings of Soviet literature and all that made me love that name, and I love my sister. And for my parents, both daughters are there. In me, they are Olga and Lalita. Both they found.
That is such a beautiful journey, and thank you so much for sharing that with us. It just gives me goosebumps. Hearing you talk about your sister and about your love for this name.
Yeah.
So and now I'd like to talk about the three books, the three feminist takes on the epics that we have. The Liberation of Sita, Yashodhara, and very recently launched On the Banks of Pampa. What do you think is that underlying ideology or thought that connects the central characters of these three books?
In the central character of Liberation of Sita, but Sita is learning from other women, and those women are also very important for the stories and for Sita's journey also. And they are very very short characters in the total epic Ramayana. Surpanika just came in the Aranyakanda and then nothing about her. Ahalya also like that. So I want to take those characters which are not very familiar with the familiar but not the entire story of them, and introduce a meeting between them and Sita. So Sita talks with them and learns so many things. Why means they suffered a lot in a different way. Sita suffered a lot, but Sita still didn't understand the patriarchal web. So to understand that patriarchal web, Sita needs the help of these women, Surpanaka and mainly Ahalya and Renuka.
Yeah.
They are older than Sita, and they have such a violent experiences in their life.
Yeah.
So after undergoing that violent experiences, what they learned, how their wisdom grow, and how they transfer it to Sita or other women, or for the contemporary women also. So that's how those stories came into my pen.
No, definitely. I mean, I think when I was reading Liberation of Sita, there's one thing that stood out to me, and that was how we never realized that maybe there are, I mean, these central women like Ahilya, Renika, and Surpanaka. We never thought that these women might have also shaped Sita's journey, or whatever decisions she took in the later path of her life, later life as well. That must have heavily been, based on whatever conversation she had with all of these women around her.
Yeah.
So that is brilliant. What are the central themes in Yashodhara and on the banks of Pampa?
Yashodhara, my main aim is to portray Yashodhara as an agent of change rather than victim of the desertation.
Right.
So I made her that she is on par with Siddhartha in his ideological or philosophical journey.
Yeah.
So they both are companions and they are sharing, and Yashodhara was much more into it than Siddhartha, and because she was a woman, and women in those days have no path of spirituality, there is no entrance into the path of spirituality. So how Yashodhara made Siddhartha to leave the palace and made him Gautama Buddha, and then open up the path for spirituality for women. And Pampa is about Shabari in Ramayana and Matanga Muni. They both are Guru Sishya, Matanga Muni as Guru and Shabari as Sishya. And how as a forest dweller, Sabari and an untouchable sage, Matanga, struggle in their lives, and how they liberated themselves, and how they want to protect the ecology, environment, and the harmonious lives of every creature in the world. So that is the main theme of on the banks of Pampa.
Love that. Honestly, I just want to share one thing. When I was reading about Yashodhara, I did not know who she is.
Historically, Yashodhara,
Exactly.
much information is not there in the history.
Exactly, yeah.
No information.
Nobody talks
at
about
all.
Yashodhara.
No, we have that picture of Siddhartha's leaving of the palace. And then when Siddhartha, after becoming Gautama Buddha, came back to the palace Kapilavastu, Yashodhara from the palace saw him that 2-3 incidents are there in the history about Yashodhara. So many writers, many famous writers, renowned writers wrote beautiful poems and stories, even novels about Yashodhara, but all of them portrayed her as a victim. So I want to change that image of victim. Yes, women are victims, no doubt about that, but always projecting them as victims won't give women much courage.
Absolutely.
If they understand them as an agents of change, the contemporary women also want to change the society. So they get inspiration from the past history. So I want to project Yashodhara, and I also have reasons. It's not a completely fiction. There is a rationality between that thought. Rationality is there because Siddhartha, who loves every creature, every creature in the nature, how can be so cruel to Yashodhara?
Just thinking about it is
that was one rationale, and another is how Yashodhara, who loves Siddhartha, can sleep peacefully when he is leaving and the palace is on turmoil. Parents of Siddhartha were weeping like anything, but she is sleeping. That means she knew it, that Siddhartha will leave, and I made Yashodhara to ask Siddhartha to leave this night.
That is so beautiful. Thank you so much for telling us your thought process. I mean, I'm actually living it at this point in time. The way you're talking about it, it's like everything is happening right in front of me.
Thank you.
I also want to talk about On the Banks of Pampa a little bit. Which is your favorite scene when you were writing the book?
My favorite scene was when Matanga Muni and Sebari enter into the Pampa forest. Before that, Matanga Muni and Sebari struggled so much in a kingdom. Actually, Matanga Muni was humiliated, insulted as an untouchable, and everybody was so cruel to him. So after undergoing all these sufferings and humiliations, he and Sebari was a little girl then, they both entered the Pampa forest, and the Pampa forest, and from the elephants to the small insects welcome them. The big elephants touched Matanga with their tuskers, and the insects, the many kinds of 1,000 kinds of insects once touched Matanga. And when he entered into the Pampa, the whole Pampa was very vibrant, and in the Pampa river also there are a lot of fish and all these jalacharas. So they also touched Matanga. So from the humiliation of untouchability to the touch of the whole nature, Matanga was in ecstasy, and he didn't know how to thank from the forest and the river. He then realized himself as one among the nature.
Wow.
So that was my favorite scene.
That's kind of a revelation. I mean, I cannot even imagine how much, while writing that scene also, it must have felt like, wow, everything is coming together at this point in time. I want to talk about your translations a little bit now, because most of your works, whatever I have read, also is a translation. Do you ever feel that some things get lost when books are translated into other languages?
I think something will get lost and something will come, add on. Maybe both will happen. If the translator is really interested in the book and made the translation her or his own self, then the translation will be beautiful. And I read many novels and world classics in translation only in my Telugu language. And when I was 15 year, since my 15th year or 14th year, I am reading Mark Twain's Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, both novels, yearly once or twice, my favorites. So in Telugu.
Okay, wow.
And suddenly when I was 35 or 40, in between that age, I picked up the original Mark Twain. I also read English novels, and also I picked up the original English novel of Mark Twain, but I can't enjoy that as much as I enjoyed the Telugu translation because of the words that Poli Peddamma, Aunt Poli. That sound aunt is not very near to me as Peddamma. Tom's mother means mother's elder sister, aunt.
Right.
Tom's aunt is Poli.
Okay.
Poli God. So in Telugu we are so used Poli Peddamma. So when I read Aunt Poli, like from that names also, that the translator of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn was wonderful translator, and he made them as Telugu characters who lives in next door.
That is so cool. I mean, my next question was this: that what is that one Telugu word that you don't think anybody can write in English?
There are many. No, in it, what is the regional languages? I think every regional languages has many words for one word. For example, for a word like ordinary word like tree, in Telugu there are so many alternative words.
Right.
So I can pick up in Sabari. In Telugu, Sabari is walking, is like a walking tree near the Pampa.
Okay.
That is the main. But in Telugu, Pampa తీరానికి నడిచి వస్తున్న పాదపంలా ఉంది శబరి. పాదపం is tree.
Okay.
Pampa పాదపం. So they can match, no?
Right.
So when I use the word padapam, that is a maybe Sanskrit word.
Right.
Padapam. The line got beauty.
Yeah.
But in English, you always use, I think, as far as I know, for tree there are
no other alternatives. Yeah, not many. Yeah.
Not many. Like that, English has so many advantages and also disadvantages, and each language has its own beauties and limitations.
Right. Okay. My next question is in regards to again the three books. If Sita, Yashodhara, and Shabri sat in one room today, what would be the things that they would agree on, and what would be the things that they would disagree on?
They all agree. They three of them are lovers of nature.
Yeah.
Sita spent most of her life in the forest.
Yeah.
Sabari spent her whole life in the forest.
Right.
Yashodhara, though he lived in the palace-like thing, she loved nature, and after Gautama Buddha permitted women into the bikinis to become bikinis, she also went to the nature.
Okay.
So all three agree about the beauty and serenity and spirituality within the nature, and they both disagree with the way the contemporary world is destroying the nature.
That is so true. Oh my God. It just breaks my heart even thinking about it. And I can absolutely agree with you on that, that I think that would be the central theme of this. What is happening to our world, and where are we headed?
Yeah.
Okay, finally, my last question to you is, what are you currently reading, if you can tell us that? And if you have to recommend a book to our readers who have read these novels, Liberation of Sita, Yashodhara, and On the Banks of Pampa, what should they read next?
There are a lot of wonderful writers like in regional languages. In Tamil, Salma is there and Bama is there.
Okay.
So many women writers, and also Perumal Murugan, like writers in Tamil. In Telugu, there are so many writers, young writers, senior writers, so many. How can I name next?
Okay, what are you reading right now then?
I just finished reading Amul Palekar's Viewfinder,
Oh,
his
okay.
autobiography.
Yeah, how did you like it?
I like it. I like
Okay. Did you read that in English or Telugu?
English.
English, okay.
No translations until now.
Okay. Wow. Thank you so much, Volga ma'am, for doing this with us. I mean, I am honored to have had these few moments to talk to you about your books and your work and the mark that you've left on all your readers. I think that is brilliant. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your opinions and sharing your questions with me, and happy with my answers.
No,
Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you so much.